If you don't happen to have a traditional bead loom, you can also use a cardboard loom. I'm starting with a piece of cardboard that's about 12 inches or a little over at least 10 inches, and I'm taking an awl and I'm poking as many holes across the top edge as I'm going to have strings for my pattern. So if I have a pattern that is 5 beads or 5 holes wide, then I would need to have 6 holes because I need to have one extra string. So I'm poking 6 holes with an awl. You could also use a T-pin or a pointy needle. Anything like that will work. And then what I'm going to do is I will then take my string, and here you can see this one is 12 inches long. That's going to give me plenty of string on the ends of my bracelet to be able to braid. Okay, so I take the string, and I'm going to need a couple pieces of tape. And what I'm going to do first of all is just wrap this around as many times as I have holes. So again, making sure that I go around 6 complete wraps around the board because I have 6 holes. If you have more, of course, you're going to go more. If you have less, you go less. And just cut that off. Tear myself a couple of pieces of tape once I get this string off the board. And I am going to go ahead, I've got just a size 18 needle. That's a blunt needle that I'm going to put on the string so that it just makes it a lot easier to warp the cardboard loom. Okay, 2 pieces of tape. I'm going to take one of those. Got my needle on here. I'm going to take one of those and I will tape down the end once I get here to it, right there next to that loop. Next to the hole there. Then I take my needle and I will go through the first hole and I will repeat, wrapping it around basically like a circle. So then in the first hole on the other side, of course, it's the holes that are straight across from each other or relatively close. I did not measure to make these looms. I just eyeballed it, trying to get the holes as close together as I could without making a tear across the bottom. And you could probably notch this at the top too. The most important part is that they, stay evenly spaced, fairly evenly spaced, and don't slide off the loom. And I think that's why, really, more than anything, I went with the holes as opposed to doing notches at the top and bottom, was that I didn't want these to come apart while I was working, because it does take a little bit of work and effort to build these. So, and of course, as I'm doing this, I'm pulling that string so that it's just a single layer. I don't want a double layer of string. And then I'm going to go ahead and tape it right there at the top.